What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now Hyundai sent me the Ioniq 6 Limited as a tester for a week. Now this is the top of the line trim level for the Ioniq 6, and this just so happens to be the all-wheel drive model, which means there is a motor for the front axle and rear axle, making this a dual motor vehicle, and that is an additional $3,500, bringing this particular vehicle to just over $55,000. Now for you guys that don't know, Hyundai's Ioniq line is dedicated to electric, sustainability, fun at a good price point. And man, that's everything you want in a gift box. And is this vehicle worth it? I spent a week with it, and I'll tell you, I think so. Let me show you why. Now, since we're in the front, we might as well start here. This exterior color is Onyx Black. It is beautiful. This is the color I would choose personally, but I believe the other colors actually complement the contours of this sleek vehicle. I mean, you can see how aerodynamic up here and how simple it actually works for this vehicle. Of course, in the headlights, you have the pixel designs. Once again, that is the Ioniq's thing, and you have the Hyundai logo right here, front sensors, your front camera, and these two active shutters I think are a nice party trick. Of course, that is to cool down the batteries, but just take a look at this. Once again, the aerodynamics. This vehicle is well thought out, and I believe every vehicle in Hyundai's Ioniq line was thought out individually. Now in this frunk, it's not much space. Of course, this isn't that big of a vehicle, and they actually have a compartment right here. Now I will be honest with you, this compartment is just small enough for maybe some things you want to keep in the car to detail it, or I mean, it's big enough to put a laptop there. Maybe if you barely have anything in a book bag or a soft briefcase, you can stuff that in here. But seriously, this is only for a couple spray bottles, maybe some microfiber towels. You know, of course, you can see all your washer fluids, access to the battery displayed right here. All right, guys, since we're up here, let's talk about specs as far as power, since this is where the motor is supposed to be. This thing pushes out the equivalent of 320 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. I bet that just surprised you guys. Now, if you're a person in the market, wants an EV, you like the size of the Tesla Model 3, but don't want the Tesla Model 3, want something with a little more fun, let's say character, no offense to Tesla, why don't you go take the Ioniq 6 for a test drive? I mean, come on guys, just look at this side profile here and look at the silhouettes. This has so much thought as far as design. Let's start in the front. Since we're right here, you can see the polished aluminum and gloss black 20-inch rims that is graciously wrapped in 245/40 Pirelli tires. And trust me, those tires make a huge difference. I've been driving this car for a week and it is just responsive. Now you can see the design as far as the airflow goes along here. It's a very aerodynamic car, and that's especially what you want for the EVs. Coming over here to the mirror, they have the pixels as a turn signal. I love the fact that Hyundai designs each car differently, because not every car has pixelated turn signals on the mirror. You have your 360 camera right up under that mirror. Going down to the bottom, you can see those touches of gray down there. I believe it adds a sense of sportiness, luxuriousness, and it complements the design of this vehicle. Now you have the flush door handles right here, and for reference, the sunroof starts here and ends here. That is a sunroof that is almost halfway through the rear doors. Now coming back here, right here, you can see how massive this whole pillar is, and this third window on the side. Don't be mistaken about the headroom, because you have that much more space. These low profile windows, I love. It just adds a level of sleek and sportiness, which Hyundai is aiming for when it comes to this vehicle. Now coming back here, the last thing to mention is the power door for your charge port, and it is only available when the car is unlocked. Now in the rear, design continues. The reason I keep mentioning design is because every piece of this vehicle I look at seems like they had the Ioniq 6 in mind for all these components. Now starting from the top down, we already talked about that shark fin there, but look at this massive spoiler here. This actually houses your third brake light. Now the third brake light is inside of this hard clear plastic, and there are pixels designed on it that gradually get bigger as it comes toward the back of the vehicle. Now falling down here, you have another wing integrated into the trunk lid, and under that you have the word Ioniq and the number 6. And if you come at it from an angle, you will see that it is actually 3D printed underneath that plastic that houses the tail light. That is great. Great design right there. And dropping below that, while we're in that same housing, you have your pixel rear tail light bar. And I mean, it literally goes all the way across. I cannot get enough of this pixel theme when it comes to the Ionic line. And dropping under there, you have this non-functioning vent over here. That is great design. Continuing with the silver, of course, you have your pixel reflectors, and at the bottom of that, you have your pixel reverse lights. I mean, the design, the placing, it couldn't have been no better than what they did right here. And of course, you have your reverse camera and a push button because this vehicle has a power trunk lid. Power close also. Since we're back here, we might as well take a look at this trunk space. Now, the one thing to note about this trunk, guys, is it is bigger than what you think. I mean, I can reach all the way back there and touch the 60-40 split rear seats that actually fold down. And even if I lift this up, not much room for storage. What I found under here is the charger for your regular house plug wall, which I used a few times and it really didn't do anything. I'll talk about that later. But this comes back down. That is it for your rear trunk. The second row of the Ionic 6, the first thing you notice is the space between my knees and the front seat. This seat is positioned to my driving comfortability. Look at that space right there. In a vehicle this size, that space wows me. That's because the cabin is able to be pushed forward because there's no engine. But being back here is comfortable. As far as the design, the simplicity, I think that's what makes this vehicle feel more spacious, including the nice bright colors. This gray here, it might as well be almost white. I mean, it's a very bright interior. But you have your LED lights right here in this little pocket that's actually a door handle and is a great place to set your phone. Even in front of the Bose sound system, you have a slot right here that is a great place to set the phone. And third, down here at the bottom, you have great storage space and a spot right here to put your cups. And coming over here in the middle, they actually provided an armrest that has 2 cup holders. I mean, this is spacious. Me sitting right here, the arm on this thick handle on the door and my arm on this cup holder / armrest. This is an actual comfortable spot to be. I was sitting back here when my wife was driving. We drove about 20 minutes. I had no complaints other than how high the floor is. The position is a little bit different. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just different because the batteries are underneath the floor. The floor has to be higher. I would have said the rear seats need to be more of a bucket design, but you have to be mindful of the kids in the car seats. So this is actually great. You have 2 USB-C chargers up here, 2 vents, a storage cubby back here. You have these stretchy pockets in the back of the seats, which is nice, very simple. And down here, I showed you guys earlier, I'll show again, that there is a wall charger, house charger right there that you can plug up laptops, TVs if you want. Whatever you need to plug up can be done right there. And this, once again, is a comfortable place to be. Now let's go to the front seat. All right, guys. The driver's seat of the Ionic 6. You see it's adjusting to my settings so it has memory. Let's start this thing. Now guys, this is the first time I actually spent time with an EV vehicle and I'm so used to the initial room, you know, when it starts up. Like, what's up with that? But as you can see how simple this is, simplicity is key for Ionic line. Okay, so you can tell you have your compass up here, your miles of range you have left on charging. This vehicle is at currently 54%, but man, the steering wheel is nice and easy. As you can see, matter of fact, 1 finger. LED lights on a steering wheel. I mean, it's crazy how, I wonder how that's designed because the airbag is in there. But these lights change colors depending on what you got going on. Right now it's blue. I'm in eco mode. I'm gonna press drive mode right here. It's not a twist knob, it's a button. It gives you 3 drive modes. Once again, I'm in eco mode right now. Watch these lights as I push the button. I'm in normal mode. This is the mode I particularly like to drive in. And I'm gonna push it one more time. You'll see these lights go red. Now I'm in sport mode. Sport mode is great. I only use it when I'm about to switch lanes or when I need a nice amount of acceleration, but I do not normally drive in sport mode. That's how serious sport mode is in this vehicle. It's really a different driving dynamic. The one thing I keep getting asked about with this car is, hey, that's the electric car with the pedal shifters. All right, guys, yes, they're pedal shifters, but they do not do what you think. Of course, people who know EV know there are no gears in this vehicle. So these pedals are for your regenerative braking, regen. I mean, you shift right, which is minus, to take the regen down. You shift on the left side to take the regen up from 0 all the way to 4. And 4 is the max, and that turns on I pedal. Now, what is I pedal? When you turn it up, the regen up to max, there's really no need for the brakes. When you let off the gas, the car automatically brakes because it uses that power to charge your battery. Now, how effective is it? I didn't personally see any difference in my driving range. I mean, I only had this car for not even a week just yet, so I don't know what people who have this in day-to-day life experience. But the one thing about driving in regenerative braking at the max, once again, where the car pretty much brakes, you never need to touch the brake pedal, really. I mean, unless you want to stop harder, but you don't need to stop harder than the regen. The only thing is that when you let off the gas, it turns on the brake lights. So if you're a person that's not used to an electric car using regen, letting off the gas in traffic, it looks like you don't know how to drive. So keep that in mind when you're in traffic, that when you let off that gas in the max regen, the brake lights come on. The touchscreen, I'm not going to go over it too much. If you guys want to see about the touchscreen, check out the end of my Palisade video, my Hyundai Palisade calligraphy video. If you guys get this car, just know that you have the same size screens as their largest SUV. But you can see the LED lights running around the entire cockpit, and I'll show you guys a night video where this car looks spectacular with the LED ambient lighting that runs through this interior. But moving on, as far as the steering wheel and the gauge cluster and the climate control buttons, it is the same as, once again, the Palisade. You can go to the Palisade video, but I'll show you notable features that I love. If you hit this button to go to your cameras, you see your 360 camera. Yes, this car does have 360. Even so, we go here. When I turn the steering wheel, I'll turn this a little more. I turn the steering wheel, you can see that it's actually turning on the camera. Even if I put it in reverse, I'm gonna go back to this and move. You can see the wheels move also. I'll put it back in drive, and you see the wheels go forward. That is a nice touch. Other than that, this vehicle is just extremely nice. There's an EV button right here where you push that, and you can actually see pretty much everything you need to know. This tells me the closest EV charger right here, which is 2.3 miles away, and I have 54% left on my battery. It tells me my mileage over here as far as using the fan and fan on and fan off. So this car is telling me that because I have the AC on, I can go 147 miles. But if I turn the AC off, I can go 161 miles. So that's a great touch to add in this vehicle. And let's take this for a ride. Throw it in reverse here. You see these lights are red because I'm reversing. You rock it back for reverse. You rock this forward for drive. It's pretty much turning it in the direction you're traveling. Now, this thing is smooth for it to be such a small car. Once again, those Pirelli tires are great. They improve this ride, I'm sure, tremendously. Now, before I pull out of here, you can see right here you have your wireless charge pad, your USB-C, 2 cup holders. Your auto hold stop is right here. This is so when you come at a complete stop with the car holds the brakes by itself. So when you're at the traffic light, you do not have to hold on to the brakes. It'll do it for you, and you just push the gas for it to go. Now, you guys heard the doors actually lock, and I'm cruising at 8 miles an hour. So anyway, back down here, to keep the door panel simple, you have your window buttons down here for the front and rear windows, your lock button, your window lock button, and a little cubby for storage. You can slide your phone right here if someone has it on that charge pad. And inside this, you have 2 USB-C chargers inside of your center console. So this electric vehicle has a lot of charge space. I don't know exactly how much of a charge or how much power these charge pads and plugs use. So be mindful. Once again, I would love to hear from you guys that have the Ionic 6 as an everyday vehicle, but I would love to especially hear from the EV world. When you charge your phones, wireless or even plugged up, do you see a dramatic change in your battery power? So turning on the left turn signal, we're gonna go left here. I don't know if you guys can see from that position, but it has the blind spot camera. Whichever way you put the blinker on, it turns on that camera.